Hello everyone, thank you for joining in. I know this is post-lunch session, so we'll try to keep it so interactive whatever we can, right? So, and I'm sure Vaibhav is here, so it will definitely be interactive and inclusive session from everybody. Yeah. So Vaibhav would like to understand from you, how, from the TransBank perspective, a few line of introduction would be helpful.
Yeah, thanks. I hope I'm audible. So thanks, and quite excited to be present over here. This is third year, and I remember the first year, and right since that first year, first hour of Digital Fifth Bharat FinTech Summit, we've been extremely glad and very happy to get associated with the team. I think the first event is where TransBank was just born. It was just like a baby, right? We were trying to juggle with the ideas, what to do and all. And of course, eventually, we are kind of, thanks to the team also and thanks to the entire banking ecosystem of India, today I think we are working with some of the largest set of banks. We built the India's fastest growing open finance infrastructure, predominantly on the business-to-business banking side of it. And I think one persistent question which I always used to get is that, what is this transaction banking, right? Transaction banking hai kya? And we all bankers, right? I mean, we all probably hundreds of bankers, and we have some great transaction bankers like Ajay Rajan, like Ashinath Hariharan. We are happy that they are here today to inaugurate our report. But our idea was that despite of having such a great leadership and camaraderie in transaction banking, I think a lot of these probably laymen or maybe some of the other new fintech fraternity wanted to have idea about what is transaction banking, right? Yeah. And what is transaction banking, how it is changing the life of it. That's why we thought, let's put it in a report. Let's try to do some primary research. Let's talk to some of the bankers and try to pass on this particular information to the industry. It's our first attempt, may not be the great, but I think because we have amazing people from Digital Fifth, I'm sure the report would be useful and insightful. And of course, after this report launch, we are going to talk about the same in the panel as well. But very excited to launch the report, and thanks once again Digital Fifth team and also 8i Ventures. I think all of us collaborated for this particular industry report. Vikrant.
Yeah, sure. So we have a few more questions on the report side, maybe for 5-10 minutes largely. So I would like to understand from you, like India has a very rich infrastructure of, say, be it India Stack or UPI and all. How do you see those getting emerged into the transaction banking and providing the value to the businesses?
See, I think this is predominantly what we used to always educate the industry, right? Like, for example, the retail payments like UPI or payment gateway. And we have actually done really well in that particular segment, right? But when you talk about the business-to-business transaction, and this is a very famous quote by Shekhar Bhandari of Kotak, he says that the complexity doesn't go 4x or 5x, it goes 64x, right? Because there are so many aspects involved when you are transacting or when you are building solutions for businesses, right? So I think, in my opinion, probably the next decade, it's going to be around the business payments. And we are again glad that in India, a lot of fintechs are trying to build something great in business payment side of it. And the way UPI has led this wave globally, right? India is actually one country where people are looking at us, right? Similarly, I think for this transaction banking business, right? I'm sure in next decade we will have people looking at us towards the India. How to build this particular infrastructure. We've had some exciting cases covered in the report. And of course, great to get the industry feedback on this. We have got an amazing industry, at least present over here in this event itself.
Yeah, definitely. So we also had chat this earlier while on the report side as well. It got covered. But one point was there, like transaction banking has been serving for the corporates at one level, but for the MSMEs it was pretty different. And now with new classification that has coming in, how do you see that is getting emerged into that, and how does TransBank sees it as an opportunity?
See, I think MSMEs is probably, again, because it's the massive number in India and even globally in some of the developing countries also. I think it's probably, in my opinion, base of any economy, right? So if we don't really serve these MSME segments from overall business payment solutions, then we are leaving a big chunk out of it, right? So I think we, as a team, we are, of course, extremely focused, and we have some amazing partnership with larger banks. Of course, there are banks like Yes Bank, ICICI, who've been at the forefront of the leadership. But there are a lot of other banks which are putting their entire hearts out of it, right? And the intent is there. For most of the bank MDs, I met some of the small finance bank senior management over here. I think they are extremely excited about it, and they see that particular future of transforming the lives of this MSME, right? Of course, it requires a lot of effort, multiple types of integrations and all. But I think that's what the future is today, probably to collaborate with banks as well as some of the industry bodies and then build something very beautiful together like UPI.
True. One of the factor in UPI that had helped is like the base is on APIs, right? So that's where the conversation goes towards the BaaS side, right? How do you think that is going to evolve and that is going to get, I mean, we started with maybe from the payments perspective, then slowly lending, penetrated into the banking as a BaaS, as a service. Where it will go? What is your opinion on that?
I think, again, in my opinion, the way things are evolving, most of the product lines, even in the domestic cash management services or trade finance or global remittances, most of them would eventually evolve into the API-led, infrastructure. It will take some amount of time in some segments like trade finance, but I think there are a lot of efforts, and kudos to industry bodies like IBDIC or, of course, NPCI, Bharat Connect. There are a lot of efforts going on. Bankers are leading that. Fintech practitioners are leading that. We want to play our own small, contribution towards it. If we can achieve something which will really, ease out the cash flow handling or ease out the lending proposition for the, SMEs or MSMEs, I think that would be probably a very happy moment for all of us.
Sure. Yeah. Great. Maybe one more thing would like to understand the view of viewers, largely from the perspective of the transformation which is happening in the industry. So that is going all over, right? The transaction banking, one part where the payment and collection is, there is definitely there is an improvement which is there. Trade finance is a sector that is, again, it works very differently, right? When we discuss, then also I realize it works very differently. It's not at all as a common transaction practices which are going on. How do you see that is getting evolved in the future?
See, again, of course, what is happening over there is a lot of standardization is being put in the picture, right? There have been developments from the ICC side of it, and of course, there are various other bodies which are working on it. And I think good part is this is a time where the international or domestic trade volumes are also going up, right? We have seen a very successful implementation of the NESL infrastructure for the bank guarantee vertical, right? Of course, there are challenges, right? The core incumbent system or legacy systems of the bank, because of course banks were geared up for lending, right? But I think the way banks are trying to innovate, and then, as I said, the industry bodies, IBDIC especially, are trying to, kind of merge this gap. Probably the next UPI movement would come from that segment. It's what I feel. There's something large at work over there.
Yeah, that's true. Looks like that only. B2B payments altogether is something which is going to get evolved in the future, right? Maybe when we try to see the vision of 2030, it would be like whatever we have today in UPI should happen in B2B, right? Holistically, B2B has very niche challenges based on size, based on complexity, as you were saying, right? Because whether it is MSME or corporate, the complexity will not be low anyways, because each business is different. Stating that, what is the role B2B payments would play in the future? What is your opinion on that?
See, again, in my opinion, payments anywhere in any of the retail payments or any of the other use cases, it's a fundamental rail, right? It's like the rail infrastructure which has been laid down, right? So without which it's like a Play Store, right? you have a basic Play Store, and then of course you can use the entire features of Android or iOS, and then you can build your own apps, right? So similarly, the entire base of the entire future of transaction banking would be these B2B payment rails, be it which are being built by NPCI, be it which are built independently, right? And it is not only payments, it's also about lending, right? So predominantly these things are getting kind of hand in hand, and some beautiful use cases are getting created. One of the example is credit line on UPI, right? And of course, there are so many such examples in the business side of it, right? Commercial card is still a very largely unexplored area. I'm sure Falcon team is talking about it. But commercial card is one thing which typically all businesses would eventually would or should have. I mean, I have been looking for that card for a while, right? So I think in B2B payments, some of these rails, like commercial cards or like the actual payment rails, would be quintessential. It will be absolutely essential to build, and if it is built, probably fix it with the reconciliation, which is probably the missing, line in the particular scheme of things.
True, very true. That's a very insightful thing. Anything you want to call out from the perspective, right? What you are building and the TransBank, which would be part of this innovation altogether.
No, I think our idea was, again, when we were bankers, we actually were doing, I was in Indus, my other co-founders were with Yes Bank, Kotak. So I think we saw that gap where the multi-bank platform was missing, right? And of course, there were these very clear needs for NBFCs, fintechs, right? They wanted a single unified platform, like the way UPI is built, right? So we today are proud to work with 50 plus banks, right? Where we have a single consolidated platform for each type of transaction banking, right? And of course, we're thankful to our advisors, mentors, a lot of us are there. And I want this report to be published by this exact mentors and or the supporters we have, right? So I think I'm quite happy that we are inaugurating it. But I think more than that, probably I would want them to come to jointly inaugurate. Transaction banking is not like a PhonePe, UPay, or RuPay kind of a game where one player is going to take away the entire share. It would be a bank, and of course we would be technology service provider or probably a small business correspondent to the banks, right? So it will be bank plus fintech. It will not be like how UPI has been built. So I think that's where we want banks to come along. And of course, they've been extremely helpful in our last 2 years of journey. None of the banks have shown us even 1% of resistance. They've been so great at giving support, extending support to us, be it any of the private sector bank or even some of the public sector banks, small finance bank, MNCs, right? We've been thankful to the entire community and of course support from the entire banking fraternity. So I want them to also come and present the report if it is okay with you.
Yeah, definitely, sure.
So please, I think Kashi sir, Ajay, I don't know whether Hitesh is already here. Hitesh bhai. Aman sir.
I'll quickly announce a topic for our next panel.
No, sorry.
Yes.
Not topic. This speakers only will be there for inauguration. Okay. The report. Report का launch.
So first they do the inauguration now. Well, as you see, we had the report inauguration happening here. Well, can we have a huge round of applause? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. As we have Mr. Aman Singla, Head Transaction Banking Group, CSB Bank. Mr. Ajay Rajan, Country Head, Government, MNC and International Business, Yes Bank. And of course, requesting everyone to kindly stay back. Vikrant sir, thank you so much.